Hey guys, Achilles here with another video. Today we're going to be talking about a solo build, solo speed build. This setup should be very familiar to you. This is pretty much our Bones of Rathma setup, or Radruns. I'm going to be explaining this build and how to utilize it in solo or speed format. I'm a little bit under the weather today, so if I say a lot of nonsense, bear with me. Basically, this is very similar to our Bones of Rathma setup. The key difference is in the LON having access to a lot of extra items that increases our damage, as well as giving us a lot of utility to basically either increase our speed during the rift or gives us a little bit more toughness. So let's start by our weapon and offhand, which is exactly the same as the Bones of Rathma setup. We're using Scythe of the Cycle, and as a phylactery I like to use Lost Time for that extra movement speed whenever we use a cold attack. Not to mention activating our trap in a very big range. For the boots, we're going to be using Stuart Greaves for movement speed, Swampland Waders for extra physical damage. We're going to be using the physical rune on the Skeleton Mage Singularity. Obviously the LON rings, Tasker and Theo, the only item in game that increase attack speed of pets. We are using pets, Razeth Volition, and Requiem Serplate, which I'm gonna be going into a little bit. Razeth Volition gives your skeleton mages the gift of death rune. Essentially, whenever they die, they're gonna be turned into corpses, which we can use with Devour and gain essence. Requiem Serplate, whenever we use Devour, for example, to consume these two corpses, we are gonna gain 100% extra essence and life. So basically, instead of gaining 10 essence per corpse, we get 20 essence per corpse. And if we get any extra essence over our essence pool with Devour, not with like Reaper's Wraps or any other sword, if we get them with Devour, it will basically becomes a buff on our character, and we gain it over 3 seconds. Same with health. Hence why I'm using Cannibalize, because that will give me like a ticking hot, a heal over time effect on my character. I'm gonna be using Andariel Visage for more physical and obviously attack speed. The rolls you see on Andariel Visage is actually not hard to get. This headpiece always rolls with attack speed and elemental, so all you need to get is a physical one and roll whatever other affix on it, which is usually main stat, to crit chance. You obviously need a socket on it for reduced cooldown reduction, but if you don't have access to this helm, you can use Leoric's Crown, as cooldown would be our top priority. Top priority, why? Because we are using Hunted Vision, which doubles our Simulacrum duration at a cost of health. So instead of 15 seconds, we're gonna have 30 seconds Simulacrum uptime, but we lose 5% of our health every second. This would be, we don't even feel it, it would be negligible due to this Requiem Serplate constantly healing us for 6%, 3%, double 6% per corpse. Just the corpses in town alone gives us, the corpses from our skeleton mage alone gives us more than enough essence. I'll show you. Just need a little bit of essence to be able to cast a skeleton mage. due to this synergy with obviously our life from death rune, which every time we consume a corpse we have a chance to spawn a health globe. We are using Reaper's Wraps. Every health globe gives us with a perfect roll 30% of our primary resource back. So with all these items I will show you that how efficient this is and how this cycle can actually be self-sufficient. Not that it's necessary, but we cast a mage, we use all of our essence, they last 10 seconds because I'm using a Circle of Julian's Love in the cube, and I'll show you my cube later. I get 2 corpses, I consume the corpses, double essence, so I get 44. I can cast the mage again. With the Simulacrum, since it duplicates our secondaries and Skeletal Mage is a secondary skill, I essentially cast 4 mages, so instead of 2 corpses I'll be getting 4 if I cast it with Simulacrum, which I'm going to show you right here. As you can see, 4 mages. If there are no enemies dead around us, these mages themselves gives you corpses because of Reseth Volition. 4 corpses here. I consume the corpse and I get the same thing back. There is the health drain from Simulacrum. This won't kill you. What happens? This will actually kill the Simulacrum, as you guys saw right there. If it goes to the point that it's gonna kill you, it will kill the Simulacrum. You guys can see we get the corpses back again and go on and on and on. We're gonna be using a generator, Siphon Bloodsucker, which is gonna consume all globes within 40 yards, which then is gonna buff us from Reaper's Wraps with a lot of essence. We only need 3 to get to 90% or 4 to get to maximum, essentially. Blood Rush Potency for movement. Thanks to Stuart Griff's, we're gonna run a lot faster, and obviously 100% armor. Singularity Mages as our main source of damage. We use Bone Armor, Harvest Anguish. Harvest Anguish for more movement speed, as well as being a cold spell, activates Lost Time. This also buffs Scythe of the Cycle, which is essential. And also a 30% damage reduction, which is amazing. In our queue, we're going to be using Circle of Julian's Love for 4-second extra on our mages and 2 additional mage on each cast, or 1 additional, 2 per cast, so essentially 4 with Simulacrum. I'm using Nemesis Braces because I'm going to be demonstrating this in solo. In a group man, you can probably use either Leoric's Crown or any other utility item that you've seen fit. Reliana's Shadowhook because we're using Reservoir on our Simulacrum, 100% extra essence, therefore double damage from Reliana's Shadowhook. I want to explain very briefly into how Simulacrum, or this double essence, interacts with our mages and Reliana's Shadowhook. On the first glance, you can see this doubles our essence, therefore it doubles our damage because of Reliana's Shadowhook. 0.5% more damage per point of essence. Our essence pool gets doubled, so essentially this gets doubled. That is correct. But how does that work with our mages? As you guys can see, each mage gets 3% extra damage per point of essence consumed. This is double as well, so does that mean our mages do double damage as well? Not quite, they actually do more. Because the damage of each mage independently in the formula basically being calculated, and since this increases as well as this, basically 2 separate multipliers get increased. Let's say each mage did 160 damage, Essentially, when you press Simulacrum, each of them gonna do 500 damage rather than um, 320. So yes, you could say they do double damage, or double of each, I guess. In order to check these formulas and basically see what stats is better, what increases your damage more, crit or attack speed, or just head to D3 Planner. From now on, I'm going to be using that website to post these builds on, due to, sadly, Diablo fans being recycled, shut down. For our choice of stats in this build, we are going to be going after cooldown to have the most optimal uptime on our simulacrum, or maximum uptime as we require for this, as you guys can see how much damage increase it is. So cooldown on both rings, cooldown on shoulders, the cooldown gem in the helm. You don't need quad gloves, just cooldown. Crit works fine. Attack speed increases our sheet damage, therefore this sheet damage increases the damage of pets. So attack speed directly increases the pet's damage. As far as I know, it does not have higher value than elemental or crit damage or crit chance, but it's still a damage increase flat. I would have loved to use attack speed on my weapon, but unfortunately I don't have one with attack speed, and 10% damage is actually more damage rather than attack speed in comparison. So I'm going to be using cooldown on the offhand as well as the weapon. We get up to 53% cooldown. I'm going to be showing you some gameplay in solo. I'm using Court of Sherma. We have different choices. We have a choice of even cooldown, Vigilant Belt. We have the choice of Dainty's Binding or String of Ears. Why Court of Sherma? This spell proccing, it procs very often, and the circle of blind, or the CC that it produces, is very big. That means we can pretty much sit in that circle and take no damage. This spell works to a degree. You can use it in a 4-man group and probably drop Siphon Blood and grab Curse. The cooldown reduction rune on Decrepify, which is borrowed time, that's 20% more cooldown. Or Frailty with the Scent of Blood, 15% more damage for your pets. But for our solo setup, I'm using this, and I'm not going to be utilizing Dainty's Binding. Even in a 4-man setup, what I noticed is that the enemies die very quickly, so whatever you curse dies instantly. Therefore, this 50% damage reduction is almost never up. And as we know, the curses drop if we go further than less than 200 yards, or 2.5 screens. So you can't just curse something at the start of a rift and think that it will stay up. So even in a 4-man setup, I'd rather use a Witching Hour. Let's test our gameplay, shall we? Let's just do 100. So we want to make sure our bone armor is active, otherwise we do no damage. As you guys can see, it takes a little bit time for you to set up. You guys can see I'm sitting in this blind circle and nothing hits me. Well, obviously I'm sitting out of the affixes, but none of the mobs, it's like our sanctuary. None of the mobs can hit us due to them being CC'd. It has a very short internal cooldown. There you go, another one. the mages move to what you essentially target. So if you want your mages to attack a specific target, let's say this yellow, mouse over it and then cast the mage. When they come up, they straight up surgically target that. As you guys saw, that Wretched Cavalier got destroyed first target. If you cast the mage with no target under your cursor, they still get casted, as you guys can see by holding down your force stand still, well, which is shift in my case, or by default, and they will attack the closest target, and after that to the next target, and every single mage will follow you and attack the closest target if they have a valid target. So essentially they stay until they can. When you're moving, they move with you. So if you're about to leave the screen, they will leave that target and follow you. Whoa, we are taking a lot of damage. We actually made a mistake there. We casted a couple of mages with nowhere close to maximum essence. That's what you want to do. If you don't have enough mages, as you guys can see, like for example 4, I would cast one at least, even in half essence or somewhere close, because you need those mages to survive. If they don't kill anything, there's no corpses, there's no globes, you don't heal, and mob's gonna essentially kill you. Cast our essence, increase our simulacrum, target this guy, cast the mage, walk to this, and watch him get destroyed. If you think you're taking too much damage at these kind of levels and you still want to do these levels, you might as well go into more damage reduction or utility, for example. Instead of the bracers in the cube, you can use St. Archer's gloves, which gives you a massive boost of toughness. Every time any of these elites hit you, you gain a shield for 150% of your health, and this being a speed build. Where are my mages? Did I forget to cast them or something? This being a speed build, you will encounter elites very, very often, and more elites, more shields, and essentially you don't die. Essence. There you go. We got a globe from our mage dying. I would like to talk a little bit about how basically the main stats interact with our, basically how our multipliers work a little bit. Not too much, and because I read some people were asking, will this work in lower Paragon? Before the introduction of a lot of these multipliers, I'm not talking about each specific one, I'm just saying more than one or two. Like, for example, a build using more than one legendary to increase the damage of something. Before that, our only multiplier was our main stat and that item. So essentially, there were only two items. You can increase the let's say 400% on start of the cycle, but you can increase the other one So it was a very big source of damage. With the introduction of all these multipliers and every single build utilizing 4 or 5 of them, it's just, this main stat just got diluted so much in the formula of damage calculation that essentially it is not as important as you guys think, you might think. So basically think of intellect or dexterity or strength as one of your multipliers in the calculation. So let's say, imagine the start of the cycle was exactly 39,000 and this, you had 400 intellect. You essentially would do the exact same damage. Obviously, you would drop a lot of resistance and toughness and stuff, but you get what I mean. I'm gonna actually demonstrate this in a greater rift. So essentially every greater rift increases in health and damage and also a little bit of experience, not by the same amount, but by 17, I think 0.3%. So essentially of the previous level. So essentially after 4 greater rifts, health, damage and everything increased by 100%. 17, 30, 56, 5 greater rifts, my bad. So what are we gonna do? 5 greater rifts would be 100%. So in order to do that, we're gonna cut our intellect by exactly 100%, which is a little bit less than 20k, I guess. Let's go with, let's just give us our, wait, no, not like this, not one. Is that it? Is that it? Yeah, okay. So, we cut our intellect by half, so 100% less. That means if I go 5 levels lower, I should be doing exactly the same thing with 19.9k intellect. Let's see if that's how it works. Nice. As you guys can see, the damage is exactly the same, shockingly. To learn more about how the damage formula applies to your skills and abilities, or whether a stat increases your damage by as much as you think, just import your character in D3 Planner and check it out. It's not, D3 Planner is not 100% accurate. It's wrong on multiple things, but it is definitely a very, very nice tool to have and utilize. Why am I dying? Oh, okay, now I realize why. Because I'm not killing anything. I was dying to Simulacrum. While you snowball, you will be killing stuff faster, you will be gaining more globes, and so you want to move quick and kill everything. Oh shit, we actually don't have a cheat death. We don't need to be in density, we don't need to be casting the generator a lot. That generator is not there for our essence gain, it's just there for get the globes. So essentially you can just run around. Caster Sim, run around, cast another one. Okay, you guys see how we are destroying this level. So I hope you guys understand how the main stat interacts in all of these. Main stat is not our god and savior. It is just another multiplier. So having literally half the intellect we had, this damage is gonna be cut down by half, which is 5 greater rifts. So does this mean essentially better items, or let's say like a primal weapon, with better secondary or legendary affixes would be more damage than having, like, let's say, I don't know, 300 more paragon? Yes. And as I said, if you want to calculate exactly on your own character, just check it out on the True Planner. Our mages do the damage. Oh, we don't have shield. I'm sitting in an arcane. We almost died. You gotta be wary. You are not invincible. Our mages tend to target, or will target, whatever is underneath your character. You can target something, and they will attack that target unless they can't. So basically, they'll attack until that target dies. So basically, if I target this yellow and press a mage, you guys can see they killed that target first before they attack anything else. If you hold down shift and attack with your mage, they just hit the closest target possible until it's dead or they have to move or out of range. You guys can see it's essentially the same timer. I actually waited for my power to drop so you guys can see the boss is pretty much the same. To be honest, this actually died faster. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe to the channel and share the video. And leave a comment down below for me to improve my videos. Thank you very much. I will see you guys again next week, maybe.